Today we are going to take a look at how much you should have saved up by now. Hello and welcome. My name is Peter B and I welcome you here at My First Million, where we are achieving our financial goals together. So how much should you save up? So there are many statistics out there. So just don't consider, usually what you don't want to consider is the statistics, that just consider the money on the bank that someone has on the bank. So instead, you usually want to focus on your net worth. Your net worth basically means all your assets minus all your liabilities. So what could be your assets? Of course, it very much depends on what the statistic is referring to. But for me personally, usually I would refer as an investment, either money that I have on a bank account, invested into the stock market or in like a real estate properties or in any other kind of investments. I would also consider maybe the house that I'm living in as an asset, as long as the net worth of the house is higher than as long as the worth of the house is higher than my mortgage. And so anything that maybe also doesn't lose value. What I wouldn't consider as an asset though is a car, for instance, which is just used for daily use and then loses its value. Or maybe a computer or notebook. I wouldn't also consider it as an asset because it will lose its value pretty fast, and once you want to sell it, maybe you only can get a very small fraction of it back. Then you deduct all the liabilities from it. Liabilities are all the money that you owe to someone. So maybe it could be like a credit card debt, it could be mortgage, maybe you still have some liabilities, maybe still borrowed some money from friends or family, so you will deduct everything. So let me quickly shift over here. So again, what you need to know if you want to compare yourself whether or not you're doing better or already on track what the average person is doing, you need to know your net worth first. And as mentioned, it's assets minus liabilities will get your net worth. Then usually the study will give you two numbers. One is the average and one is the median. So the average is basically taking the total amount divided the number of people. Maybe the total amount that people have in net worth maybe in a country divided by the number of people who live in that country. And then the median, in contrast, is the person in the middle. So the person in the middle, 50% of the people living in that country have less than this person. And the other 50% in that country have more than this person. So this is the median. Why this is important is because money is something that you could own in an infinite amount of, and therefore it can get skewed up. So usually the average is quite a bit higher than the median. I could give an example here, which maybe could illustrate this. Imagine you are in an elevator, maybe in the Empire State Building. And with you, there are two other people in that elevator. Your net worth may be just $1, and the other two people's net worth is also just $1. So what's the average of those people who are in that elevator? It's $1 because you have $3 in total divided by 3 people. So you have $1 net worth in average. Then the median, what's the median? Is also $1 because one has less than $1, one has more than $1, or in this case everyone has the same. But let's say just right before the door is closing, just at this moment, someone is calling out and say, please hold the elevator for a second. And then there are two guys coming in and you realize, wow, one is Bill Gates and the other one is Warren Buffett, who is taking the elevator with you. And then the door closes. So what's now the average amount of the people, of the people's net worth in that elevator? Now current statistics say that Bill Gates currently owns around 100 billion US dollar. Warren Buffett also owns around 100 billion US dollar. So they together already have 200 billions. And then if you so you can neglect the $3 that the other three guys in the elevator have. So you have 200 billions now divided by the 5 people. So on average, each and every one of you is having 40 billion US dollar, which sounds pretty nice, right? But the median is still $1 because you have still 2 guys less than $1 have only $1, and 2 guys who have much more, $100 billion each. And you're maybe the middle one who also has just $1. So the median in this situation is still $1. So average and median can be pretty skewed. So now let's really get into the numbers. Sorry for the very long introduction, but just to get this cleared out. So let's take a look at the average net worth by age. These are some statistics that I could find on different platforms. And let me scroll it up a little bit more. So average net worth by age. This is in the US. So you can see here, I listed the age range, 18 to 24, and then usually it's like a 5 years increments, what you can find here. And you can see the median in the second column and the average in the third column. So if you're somewhere between 18 and 24, the median person in that age range has a net worth of $8,216. In contrast, so there must be some people already doing pretty well financially here, because the average is already nearly 30,000 US dollar. So this you can see throughout the age groups that the average is much higher than the median. Pretty much similar, not as extreme, but similar to the example that I give at the introduction with the elevator and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett entering the elevator. So let's see, did you find your age range where you fall into? I'm already in this bucket, believe it or not. Sometimes I cannot believe how old I'm already getting. So I'm already in the 35 years to 39 years bucket. So in my age range, I should, on median, I should have around 55 to 56,000 US dollar net worth. And on average, it should be 274,000 US dollar. So this is my range, what I would need to consider. So, of course, maybe if you're also married like me, you maybe have the household's net worth combined together. So maybe you need to divide this into 2 couples. So maybe what's really maybe attributed to you is only half of your household's net worth. So I'm in this range, and you can see it's more or less constantly climbing until maybe the age of 55. You see, from 55 to 80, it's more or less around the same range. So it's not really making a huge differences anymore. So the younger you are, you should make sure that your net worth is climbing accordingly. What belongs to you is climbing accordingly. Also, if you take a look at the average, it's pretty much the same development. It's climbing pretty fast, but then somehow at the age of maybe 50 to 55, it's not really climbing a lot anymore. So it's more like a plateauing. So this looks like at least most people on average and also on median are able to keep their net worth throughout retirement. So how is this possible? Maybe usually people will maybe calculate and budget through retirement. So if someone has less, maybe they will start to try to live more frugal. If someone has more, they can spend a little bit more, but they also will pay attention that maybe their net worth is not declining too fast. So if you're still young, you want to make sure that you are also participating towards the upwards trajectory throughout your age. So where are you in? Please write in the comments below. Are you already reaching your medium goal for your age, or are you maybe already on the average? For myself, I need to say I'm significantly above median for net worth, and I also above average. So I'm on a pretty good track here. So, but of course, this is just net worth. This doesn't mean that this is money on the bank. This is also money invested maybe in real estate properties. So I hope you're on good track here. If not, if you see that you still have some room to catch up, now it's a time maybe that you can consider what to do next in order to boost your investments, or in order to boost your net worth. So then there's another thing to take into consideration that maybe you also want to consider in the same note. Fidelity has a rule of thumb if you want to retire at the age of 67. This is maybe also one thing that you can take into consideration to figure out whether or not you're saving up enough and have enough for your retirement. So, but the rule of thumb, I believe it's not your net worth. Instead, it's what you have saved toward retirement, so toward your retirement bucket. So Fidelity is recommending at the age of 30, you should have around 1 time of your annual salary saved up towards your retirement. So if, for instance, you earn 50,000 a year, then you should have saved up around 50,000 by the age of 30. By the age of 40, you should have 3 times your annual salary. So in the same example, you should have 150,000. By the age of 50, you should have 6 times your salary. So that should be around 300,000. By the age of 60, 8 times. So that should be 400,000 in the example. And by the age of 67, when you go into retirement, it should have around 10 times your annual salary. Which in this example should be like 500,000. So considering this, of course this is only a rule of thumb, but this you can also take a look as a reference. Are you on track for retiring safely? To sum up this video, are you on track for retirement, and also are you on track compared to other people? I usually like to get a challenge and have a challenge, and therefore I usually like to compare a little bit and see whether or not I do better or worse. Because if I see I do worse, I would take it as a motivation to improve my situation. And if I do better than maybe the average or the median, then this is a recognition that maybe I do quite a few things right, and therefore I just try to continue doing what I'm doing now. So I hope you gain some value out of the video, and we are having much more financial videos coming on this channel. So please stay tuned for next upcoming videos. Hopefully you would also click the subscribe button, and I would would be very happy to see you again in the next video. And especially, I would be most happy to see you winning financially.